This is your daily market review for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, your daily market review for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a good day. As we talked about, it's options expiration, aka ChopX. Are you surprised by the choppy action? No, you shouldn't be. As we talked about, leadership has started to weaken slowly. The leaders that have led previously have actually started to weaken completely. But as we come into options expiration, you should expect choppy action because, again, it's how to take the most amount of money for the most amount of people by destroying as many options as possible. So we know going into the rest of the week, potentially holiday week coming up, we will probably see some up action at some point. We've seen 3 straight sideways to down days. Bitcoin is typically leading right now, while gold and the metals have been lagging. Tech names, which we talked about, shorting is the easiest shorts working. Miners short working. Yeah, everything is looking pretty status quo. However, I would be on red alert for potential reversals in the names that have been leading, and some of the weaker names, kind of as we talk about the trash floats last. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Use the link in the description from Calendly. Let's see what we can do to help. Follow, like, subscribe, notification bell, Twitter, YouTube. Y'all know the deal. If you'd like to if you'd like to donate to the channel, see the thanks button, click on that, drop a donation. Or if you'd like to donate, there's links in the description below. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Y'all make this happen. Love helping out. Also, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Turn profits into properties and passive income. So, what do we know going into the next Fed meeting? More than likely, we're looking at a cut, but again, it's suspect. Sorry for the refresh. It has gone up to 82%. However, things can change wildly, as we know. Keep an eye on, obviously, the materials action, because that's going to be the defining. We had the CPI today, came in line. Most people seem surprised that inflation is sticky, but as we talked about on the channel, not at all. We're not surprised. I mean, if you look at what's going on, interest rates higher, as we talked about, interest rates going higher, actually inflationary. The cost to do business rises. Do not be surprised that they will try to push rates down at some point. But again, if you get all that money that's sitting on the sideline, people excited about investing with Trump, and you're cutting rates to try to kill inflation, it ain't fucking happening. So, all right, let's dig into it. Bitcoin, we talked about hitting some of the fib extensions. Let me refresh it. We screwed this one up. If you're new to the channel, you're like, what a doof. No. All right, what did we talk about? Watching this 1.618 fib extension, the possibility of 98,000 to 2 times range. It's the time frame. I'd be curious to just watch the volume up here, because as we talk about, volume indicates trend reversal potential at extremes. Not to say this is not, I mean, if you think Bitcoin's going to 1 million, then you think 89,000 is not an extreme. However, if you look at the price action going from 49,000 up to 93 and change, that's a solid in 3 months. That's a big move. So again, think about the market cap, the amount of money that actually has to drive such action. You're looking at a pretty big move here. So do not be surprised if you get some choppy action. You might get one last push, say over the weekend, or some sort of, I don't know, rumors going on within the government that somehow Bitcoin is going to back A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Be careful. Again, market's meant to be traded. Now again, investing, if you want to invest and hold it forever, I get that. The hodls kind of folks, that is what they do, but we've not laughed at them, but felt pity for them when something goes overbought, it pulls back 30, 40, 50, 60%, and they go, oh, just hold it forever. Hopefully it always goes up forever. If you're wrong, yikes. All right, oils, we talked about. Demand destruction is real. Going into a recession, going into what looks like geopolitical risk coming down, which had a premium built into the price action. Now you're back at the levels that make sense. Choppy, chop. Natural gas, I love it. Love natural gas. The price is right, basically. Again, if it gets lower, looking for more potential action. But near term, this is tough because you're at reference points. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to be a listener if needed. However, going into colder seasons, I feel like it's priced in. All right, let's get into some of these charts now. Let's go a little deeper. Dollar, make you holler. As we talked about, king fucking dollar is back. Again, whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't matter. the rest of the world respects when he's in charge. Again, what is the dollar backed by? It's not backed by really anything other than a promise in the military might of the U.S. Well, if that's the case and people are thinking that we're trending up, that's why, in my opinion, I've talked about, that's why the dollar's been on fucking fire. We're up at $29.99. Call it 30 if this was Price is Right. You're at 30 basically now. Keep an eye on. Again, we talk about dollar volatility being key to keep an eye on, because if the dollar continues to rise, geopolitically, it says money is leaving the rest of the world. Things get much cheaper to buy in dollars. Keep an eye on. Again, usually it's a place of defensiveness. Because again, if the Feds want easy money, they want liquidity to flow, they'd want to devalue the dollar. So it's an interesting dynamic we're in. Again, are you trading it? No. Watching it? Absolutely. The VIX, it is OPEX, CHOPEX. Look at the VIX getting absolutely just destroyed. This is the biggest move post-presidential election ever. Okay, well, Trump does it big, I guess, at this point, near term. If you're watching the markets and you're watching this action, again, the risk reward is to more likely hedge, take profits, reduce long side action, and be probably thinking about shorts. Just, again, define your risk. It's a probability-based game. If you're looking for certainty, turn the channel. Nobody has certainty. Nobody can tell you for sure what is going to happen unless you're from the future, which I've been accused of being from. The VIX, keep an eye on this. We talk about the VIX bottoming as a precursor to potential volatility increase. It's showing you the same signs. It's just a matter of when, not if, right? SPY, chop, fizz. What a relief. Look at these 3 days. And this is where I wouldn't be surprised if you wanted to create one more trap during OPEX. Usually the Thursday would be tomorrow, aka the Thursday of OPEX could be the game. And it could be a retest of 600 or it could be a breakout, fake out. Again, if you believe prices are going higher, keep an eye on it. Again, no one knows for sure, but in my opinion, the levels obviously are what matters. You get over 600, you got gas to cook. QQQQQQQQ. Talked about this one lagging tremendously, but however, at new highs, Doji's going silly. IWM back at near all-time highs, but you can't really like this action if you're long-term or if you're bullish. Think about it. Look, you have this gap and trap. Talk about novice gaps. Now you've got engulfing bars coming down. Is it just going to be choppy? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Again, I personally believe if the recession details are coming, you see the weakness on the board. It's just how does the market react? Well, cutting rates, again, they're at a position where they're still high. To really get the economy cranking, you're gonna have to eat some inflation. Again, if Trump's cutting spending, that's going to be a huge hit to GDP. As we talked about, GDP was based off of Ukraine spending, which has been endless, which hopefully, I don't know, again, hopefully let's not even put that, just talking facts, is going to be reduced tremendously. So you're not going to have that GDP push. And we've talked about the jobs numbers being cooked because government workers. Well, if you cut half of the government workers out, what do you think is going to happen to unemployment? Yeah. Gold, you're welcome. You're welcome. We talked about this. Okay, so now near term, you have to leave it alone. I know it seems like it should hold here, but this is the reality here. And this is what scares me about people who don't look at Bitcoin and see, yeah, when you get these big moves and the top pulls in for a near-term pullback, you don't know how deep it's going to be. But if you continue to make lower lows and lower highs, it's very obvious. What do? You should have taken profits on the way up. Think about it. The more you're up, the less you own. Again, if you're holding forever, then it just means you change your allocation and you decrease it. I mean, near-term people keep asking, is time now? I personally would stand aside and watch. Again, I think you can believe in the stuff long term, but you are technically oversold, but it doesn't mean you really want to pick the first bottom. As we talked about, retest happen, traps, games at lows, highs. I've seen these names during these circumstances being repeated get absolutely curb stomped. And if you step in front of that and you just hold through it, you're going to not like how it feels. As you can tell, as my tone changes, I've been there before. It's painful. GDX miners, again, same thing. If metals are leading, miners should be leading higher. Again, they're the leverage name as such. No, they're acting like shit. Keep an eye on it. GDXJ, same thing. Chopping back at the lows. But these things, again, they should be doing the opposite. Metals follow the miners, right? Miners are the leverage play. Look at their action. If they're heading lower, what do you think is going to happen with gold and silver? Should follow. Again, that's why you need to see these bottoms first. We need some extremes. AEM, again, congrats if you've been short this one. Looking good. AG, same thing. Looks like it's breaking out and then gives it all back. No bueno. Newmont, keeping on it. Again, this name should be at $70 a share. It's at 41. Gold at new all-time highs. Newmont can't even get back to its old highs. Somebody knows something. Again, you and I can pretend like we can actually affect the market. Our pilly amount of shares and action does nothing. Somebody smarter than us is like, I needed to get the F out. That's how you have to think about it. The whales move. Your goal, my goal is not to try to move the market. We can't. Our goal is to follow. Does that make sense? So anyway, sorry, just took out a text that's pretty important, but we can continue on. Taiwan Semi, again, we've talked about the chip sector. It is the most obvious short in the history of shorts for me since the dot-com bubble. Yes, AI is the future, but they priced in future earnings beyond that. That's why when you look at companies and they're trading at hundreds of times future earnings, prices per book, it'd be like going on Shark Tank and saying, hey, Kevin O'Leary, why don't you invest in my company? We make $100,000, but we want you to invest at a valuation of $1 billion. No, they get laughed off the stage. And that's why, to me, again, chips become a commodity. We've talked about this. You got nothing. You've got nothing but downside near term. But again, it's not going to be a straight line move. People get kind of stuck in the mud and focus on the individual move when they can't zoom out and see the bigger picture. Like, look at Micron. This thing peaked at $160 a share. It's been biding time in the low 100 teens. Now what? Look out below, below, below. Yeah, the well has a deep echo in it. Look at AMD, same thing. We call this the middle finger pattern. You've seen this before. And here's the middle finger. We talked about this. Now what? You take out this low, which it looks like we are. Uh-oh. Lower highs, lower lows. Don't overthink this stuff. See it for what it is. Do not project what you feel and think is going to happen. Do what the market's doing. That's how you get paid. NVIDIA, chopping around at the highs, keeping on it. SMCI, we talked about this. As they got a DOJ investigation. You got to get you just got to wait for it. Again, no one knows the true value of this company. If they're cooking books like Enron, I mean, this could be worth zero. Do yourself a favor. Get out of the way. Intellectual property, again, this is trash. Getting delisted. Not surprised it's got a little bounce. I can't remember where they get added or taken out of the Dow, but I imagine the fund flows will be negative. SMH, again, we talked about here, leading down. SMH, during the previous iterations of the bull market, would be ripping face. It can't even get out of the freaking batter's box. Again, weakness during strength shows you how really weak it is, because if we start pulling back, what do you think is going to happen to these names? They're going to get kicked in the nuts. Make sense? Adobe, dead cat bounce. Watch these levels. Look at the gap. Yikes. Apple, again, anybody who owns the fruit long term, I think is going to get spoiled by the reality that it can't continue up at this pace forever. However, we know they got cash, but what are they innovating? Their phones are the same. Every iteration. No one's buying the new phone. They're going to buy the next version if it has something special. But at this point, again, it's a big chop zone. I mean, it's dead money in my opinion. But however, could it rise back to the highs? I mean, again, risk reward. Watch the 100-day. If the 100-day breaks, see you later. Amazon, Bezos can't sell stock fast enough. However, something's holding up. And I think there was some news. Again, I apologize. I don't have it right off the top of my head. They're doing some deals. This is the difference between, like, say, Apple. Amazon's trying to expand in some of their agencies, getting more business and driving more business to them. Again, Bezos, I don't know how much he's worth, but I mean, he's taking profits. So should you? I don't know. You got to be careful. Zuckerberg, we talked about him bending the knee. He was very anti free speech and getting stuck into that whole, politics of it. I think he took it off. Again, as we talked about, kissed the ring, said, all right, we're not going to support either side and just let it flow during the election. That's why we're chopping, holding up. However, again, I mean, you've got to trade the levels. Because if you're bullish, you need to get the hell over 600. If it breaks 563, you know it's coming. CRM, again, overbought. This is where you have to be. If you were bullish, you have to have the vision to see the future here. When you see this and go, all right, this is a huge up move. Before something turns over, it's not a V. It's typically choppy. If you see the repeating pattern, you see the lower highs, you see the distribution potential. If you're not taking profits, what are you doing? You're gambling. You're hoping on, again, you have pocket aces and you should be cashing something in, and you're just going, well, I'm going to let it ride. Let's go to 6th and 7th Street. Good luck with that. Google, chopping around, talked about it filling the gap. Watching. Microsoft, Something that's been leading, now lagging, chopping around, not much to say. NDAQ, chop top during OPEX, you know that is potentially coming. Again, the future of exchanges is not with the Nasdaq. Technology is not going to lead the next cycle. We talked about it's commodities, it's going to be industrials, it's going to be things. Again, if you want to build out the AI tech future, you need inputs. You don't need competition. MicroStrategy, these things. This is where you have to be like mentally strong, and this is, you see the opening and you go, well, it's going to the moon, and then it's like, I mean, today's range in itself is almost, what, 15%? This is why you manage money. The more you're up, the less you own. I mean, same thing here. Even if it just pulls back a little bit, great. This is a big move. 107 up to 380. Do the math on that. It's a 400% move in 4 months. Is this sustainable? No. If you actually really want to see this long term, you want to see the consolidation patterns. You need that at some point. Straight line moves end with straight like death. If you go straight up, you will give it back, straight back. Because at that point, there's no support. There's no commitment of traders, because why? They never got tested on their commitment. It's all been up, 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 up. Netflix, again, I don't know why anyone would be buying the company. Again, the product seems legit, but again, the valuations, the future, again, competition. I don't think they can really raise prices, but we'll see what happens here. Again, this is where I will be wrong, and you will be wrong. We'll all be wrong. I still don't trust it, but pedo blocks so far holding up. Not surprised. However, look out below, meaning like keep an eye on what happens when we get back into the 47, 48 range. Don't overthink this thing. Pan W's, we talked about. If you bought this, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Drop it in the nation. I appreciate it. We talked about cybersecurity is the tech sector that I do actually believe investing in the long term, because I think the more that we get tech heavy, the more likely that these companies will trade at future premiums, meaning that, yeah, there's going to be more tech problems. These guys have endless business coming to them. I mean, AI, cloud, all that stuff. I mean, not that that's not around, but again, it's only, in my opinion, going to continue to grow. It's not priced in those nutty future valuations. Tesla, again, here's an example. You chase, you get burned. Keep it on the levels, though. I mean, if you zoom out, everybody's anticipating new all-time highs. It's $1 trillion company. Again, what are their margins? Like zero? How much money do they like burn and make? Okay, again, you're betting on Elon, which seems like a sound bet, but just remember, it's not going to always be easy. Like, I don't think people remember the old days. Up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back, big up, big pullback, then the final blow off. We've consolidated for a while. I get that. I just, again, the more you're up, like flip this chart upside down and you'd be going, that might be a bottom. Insight, we talked about they're going to get bought out. Yeah, that the stock continues to kind of trend higher. It looks good. I just, again, same kind of thing. If you have a market that's in an overbought position, do not be surprised when the tide goes out, all stocks start to pull back. The strongest ones will hold up, but the shit will definitely flush. Palantir, we talked about this one. This thing has been strong, very strong. McDonald's, keep an eye on this. Chopping, chop, 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 chop. Again, I personally don't really have a position. DKNG, we talked about DraftKings. It's in this position where I think you're going to have to just watch. Just keep an eye on it. Don't overthink it. Okay? Airbnb, Bizzle, again, gaps down on earnings. There's nothing good in, again, we've talked about real estate market. Again, if you're working with a great agent, you need help. You get 2 agents for the price of one. I'd love to help you out. That's my service to you. And again, as we watch the market evolve, it's very clear, like there's weakness abound. Higher interest rates destroy affordability. Why would people be buying Airbnbs at high interest rates when their yields off of their cash flow is going to be mediocre at best? Costco, on fire, holding up. But I mean, this is where, again, you've made the run. Think about, again, if you're a marathon runner, you can't just get back into another marathon. You got to rest. Keep an eye on it. Starbucks, get bought, the new management, great. Watch the 100 level. Again, I personally don't think Starbucks has the upside that everyone's anticipating based on Chipotle's new CEO Chipotle's old CEO taking over. I don't trust it. FedEx, yeah, worth watching. We talked about the multi-day ranges. Let's speed it up. Caterpillar seems to be chopping. Again, this is the fear you have to have, right? You have to have a healthy fear of the more greedy I get, the more likely I need to take profits. The more fearful I am, the more likely I should be buying. we've pulled back. Just keep an eye on it. Does this make sense? Nucor, material names seem to be leading down. Please be careful. Again, we talked about long-term strength is guaranteed, but this is how you flush out. You need one last capitulation. Look at X, man. VALE, again, global growth name. These guys are going to be supplying the future of all the materials going nowhere. Love it. This is where you put this in your brain and go, I am going to watch and stalk the shit out of these stocks. Copper, you got to love copper, but again, let it pull back. You've got reference levels. CCJ, again, if you like lithium, you like uranium, all this stuff looking good, but let it pull back. Ag names, people got to eat. I think in time you actually will see these names pull higher, but again, let them beat the shit out of them. Let them die before you even think about it. Like by die, look at this. You see no action at lows for long periods of time potentially. That's how you wash out. That's how big money accumulates. Like they're taking hold of all these shares at the lows, but they're in no rush to push it up. Why would they market against themselves? They want more stock. They're fucking greedy as shit. Same thing with AA. We like aluminum long term. Just keep an eye on it. The banks, again, they hold all the risk here. Will Trump Daddy bail them out? I don't think so. If anything, if they're gonna cut the fat potentially, but we'll see. Again, will they create their own banking crisis? Ugh. Again, I think the risk reward is way in your favor. Keep an eye on it. JP Morgan, they're not buying back their stock. Why would you want to buy it? However, it is holding up. Morgan Stanley, all these names, multi-day ranges. Just keep an eye on them. Bank of America, Chop Chop, Fizz, Goldman Snacks. Yeah, holding up. I mean, again, it's just a matter of not if, but when. Carry, junior banks, they look sketchy. Again, keep an eye on the multi-day chop ranges. XBI, talk about junior bios are a risk on name. Look at that trap. You break out and you give it all back. Uh-oh. Jets, as we've talked about, again, the airline business at these prices. I think Spirit just announced going out of business. How's that going to be? Why? Now, again, this is a huge run. Will it sustain? I don't think so. Again, I mean, it's just propped up based on what? Easy money. The past. Housing. This stock. I mean, we talked about it. We gave you the levels. If you took it, fantastic. 119, 120. Starting to, looks like it melted. And even with slightly lower rates, I don't think it's going to matter. Does it make sense? Questions, thoughts, concerns? Solar, as we told you guys, whether you're for it or not, is going to get absolutely kicked in the teeth. It continues to look like absolute dog shit. Remember when Sedge was at 300? Now it's at 12. I said 15. Not bad, right? But at 12 is still a 25%, or no, wait, 20% miss. Oops. You're welcome. ENPH, look at that. I mean, just zzz, pow. First Solar, zzz, pow. Don't even get into it. HYG, again, you got to be high out of your mind to buy corporate debt. Absolutely crazy. Again, we'll see what happens. I mean, they can't bail out everybody and everything all the time. Oil, again, whether you like oil or not long term, again, at these price levels, it's just a watch and wait and see game. Natural gas, the UNG, I hate this ETF, say it every freaking recording. Keep an eye on it. KOLD, if you shorted this at 80 3 days ago, it's at 66. Not too shabby, 20% in 3 days. Keep an eye on it. XOP, we talked about this breaking the downtrend, hitting the 200-day yesterday. Now you've got a doji after that move. I'd be hesitant to chase. CVE, we like this name, 15, 16 level. Keep an eye on it. Valero, chopping, keep an eye on it. MPC, again, these gasoline names proceed up moves. Typically, they've been looking like they've bottomed. But is it going to be a V? I mean, we talk about retests endlessly. ExxonMobil, chop. Man, they cannot get over the 121s. Maybe that's just an OPEX thing. Occidental, Buffett. Again, people don't understand. Again, he's selling endless cover calls. He's loving this action. He's looking at the average person laughing, going, well, why is it not going anywhere? He's like, because I want to buy more fucking stock. EQT, we talked about this breaking out to 44. You got it. Near term, 10 cuidado. Last but not least, Flex LNG, again, 11% yield on a natural gas exporting company. You bet your ass we like this name. Keep an eye on it. Personally, again, it's tough to chase if you think the tide's going to go out. So let me know how I can help. Always appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are amazing. Again, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate and you're not reaching out, I will reach to the microphone, the screen, your whatever phone, and slap you. Because again, you get two agents for the price of one. We'll make sure put you in a position to win. And you'll have me that overlook your processes, make sure the agent that you're working with is the best in the country in your area, or best in your area, but also will give you the ability to know that, hey, you've got multiple people overlooking this, not just one agent. And again, this is the thing I tell people, like, is it always the first agent? No, everyone seems great on paper, again, but they might not be the best fit. And that's where I think, if you know me, I'm going to help you out. We'll make it right. All right. Have a great evening. Talk to you later. Peace in the Middle East. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.